Guys, throughout my career on YouTube, there's been, I would say, a couple of cases that had some material that I not accidentally, but unfortunately found, and I saw some things that I cannot unsee. And this is one of those cases, if not the worst case that I've ever covered, that I've ever seen. And it's gonna stay with me. It's gonna stay with me like the case of Jun Lin and Luca Magnotta. That's unfortunately and accidentally. Well, yes, because I was shocked. In this case, I was shocked how easy it was to find said material. And well, that says something. That's disturbing. So in Vietnam, just this year, there was a man who turned out to be a cannibal, and this is the story of how the internet discovered him found him before the authorities did. And actually the government was trying to suppress a lot of information. But hi, if you're new here, hello, I'm FEARSONA. You can call me Sona, and I'm your friendly neighborhood true crime VTuber, here to give you full body chills. And yes, this is one of those cases, you know. I have to say, it is incredibly disturbing how easy it was for me to find certain pictures, certain images that I wasn't really looking for. Hog Blackthorn, thank you so much. I'm gonna be shaking for a moment. I get any angrier, I'll need more than therapy. Jesus Christ. I think I will need therapy after this stream. So, okay, you know what? Let's jump right into it. Let's just jump to the case, because we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it today for sure. So, listen, what really, really shocked me about this case was the fact that I wasn't really looking for said material. I was actually hoping that I wouldn't find the actual pictures, or, you know, like if I was looking for them, they would be just censored, or, you know, like heavily censored, mosaiced, whatever, anything to cover certain things up. Well, they weren't, and it was very easy to find them. I simply typed in Google. I Googled Vietnam butcher case, and then I went to images, and lo and behold, the first results on top of my page, on top of the browser, were very drastic images. And well, that says something. Yeah, that's very bad. That is, I think, the worst. As I said, like, it's the worst. I don't know how to say it. Like, it's the worst out of all the cases that I've researched. Like, previously, yeah, I could find certain pictures that during my research, when I was looking for information and some other photos that, you know, I wanted to use in my video, but it was never this easy. This one, it was the first result. Like, the first picture that I got was very bad. Okay, so you guys brace yourselves, and this is gonna be a very graphic case. So if you're not up for it, if you can't handle certain content and certain descriptions and yes, images, then I suggest that you don't watch the video. One of those moments where you don't want an easy case. Oh yeah, like I was hoping that this one, because it's like from Vietnam, a lot of information is in Vietnamese, you know, like it didn't go as viral on the internet. I was hoping that I wouldn't be able to find certain things, but I did. And scary. It is scary. Okay. Does that mean I shouldn't be eating right now? Definitely not. Please do not eat. Please don't eat. If you are eating right now, stop whatever you're eating, because it's gonna be bad. Okay, so let's jump right into it. It started like so many things on the internet do, with a single email to a big YouTube channel that you may know, brew. But the message it contained, well, you had to do a double take, like right away. So this is what the email said. Dear Brew, today I am writing this email to you to report a case that may catch your interest. And then the writer, like the author of this message, proceeded to explain a murder that happened in January of 2025. Yes, earlier this year, at the beginning of 2025, just a year ago. But it didn't hit the public until months later. Like, it happened, authorities actually knew about the internet, keeping track of this person for months. And they did nothing, and they only got to it in July/August 2025. So the person in the email actually mentioned a Google Drive PDF, which was 106 pages long, and it was filled with videos, photos, and compiled evidence. And yes, this was the kind of evidence that you're thinking about, the kind of videos and photos that you are thinking about. It was graphic, it was gruesome, it was brutal, unfiltered. All of it was there. Everything. So they didn't know, the author of the email didn't actually know how credible it was, but they knew that the authorities weren't really acknowledging the case. They actually said that letters had been sent, this internet community that found this person, found this material, very disturbing material. They were sending letters, emails, requests, to the authorities, and yet nothing was done. No response from the police. So Bruce's team clicked the link, they opened the Google Doc. The document was horrifying. They actually say it in their video that the introduction to the document itself was already horrifying. Like, it was no exaggeration. Like, the preview description hinted at something disgusting, at something disturbing. But Brew knew that this wasn't just another internet horror story. They felt like instinctively that this was bigger, this was real. A story about the internet coming together to catch a killer and a cannibal. And maybe, just maybe, a story about a government trying to cover it up. Like, that's, one part of the story. So they rushed the project into production. That's how urgent it felt, because it felt like, no one is doing anything. And this guy is out there, this guy is still out there. I'm kind of scared to see the pictures. I would be. Yeah, I do have some, obviously I blurred it out, but these are the things that I will not unsee, and you guys will only see the censored version. So there is a plot twist. So when Brew and the writers, the producers were looking into this case, one of the writers suddenly messaged the team with some pretty bad news. Because suddenly, when they tried to open the Google document one day to continue their, the writing, the research, the Google Drive link was gone. The document that was the only source of detailed information about the case had been deleted, like out of the blue. And it wasn't, mind you, it wasn't deleted by the author of that email, because they said, no, we didn't delete it. Like, it just suddenly disappeared. Like, you can't access it anymore. Yeah, deleted. So the team, Bruce's team initially thought that maybe the author deleted it, but that wasn't the case. So they started thinking, like, what if the Vietnamese authorities had scrubbed the online sleuths' hard work from the internet? They were trying to silence them, as if they were trying to erase this whole story before it spread any further. And Azor says, I know what I'm about to get myself into since I've already seen this case, so I'll stay quiet. Yeah, if you've seen this case, then you know. This is probably one of the foulest things to have ever been documented in recent years. Yeah. It's as bad as Dr. Gloves. I mean, it's worse. It's worse than Dr. Gloves. If you know, you know, because I did cover Dr. Gloves on my channel, and well, it was bad. And this one is worse. Rookie mistake. Should have copied and pasted it somewhere, not in the cloud as a backup. So thankfully, it wasn't like not all hope was lost, because another one of Bruce's producers managed to download the document following that weird gut feeling, saying, like, telling him in the back of his head, like, what if the government takes the document down? I'm just gonna download it. And they actually did. And just like that, the entire document was preserved. And what was in there, that's where the story really begins. Okay, so in July/August 2025, months after the January incident first occurred, because this is where people believe that, you know, it started, right? Like the horrifying crime was committed. A set of extremely disturbing videos and images began circulating on shock sites and encrypted messaging platforms. These weren't amateur clips, at least they didn't look like amateur clips. They weren't vague or ambiguous. The first video was titled Rehearsal. And in that video, you see a masked figure standing over a man in what looks like an office room, office filing cabinet, ceiling fan, you know, fluorescent lights buzzing, multiple cameras, by the way. But, you know, any other mundane room, except in the middle of that room, there was a wooden log, like whatever you might call it. Like, it was just this wooden thing. And sorry, I had to stop. But the man, you know, that's standing behind the victim is wearing a Guy Fawkes mask, and he is unbuttoning the victim's shirt. Oh, that looks bad. Yeah, it looks bad. So the victim seems to be calm and, I don't know, consenting. Like, that's the impression that you get from the video. And the victim actually places his neck on a board. And you guys, I have this video. It's not drastic. It's just, you know, it's just the rehearsal. So it's not actually drastic, but I will play this video for you right now. So, well, brace yourselves and take a look, because even though there's nothing drastic in that video, it is still very, very disturbing to watch. Oh God. I know there's nothing in it, but it looks very bad. Like, it's just, I don't know. God, I think there's nothing in it. Oh my God. What if I got it wrong? I don't know, man. Okay, I'm not gonna play the end of it because I honestly, I couldn't bring myself to watch the end. Wait, let me just... Okay, there's not... Okay, there's nothing. We can continue. Never mind, we can continue. It's just very stressful. Yeah. I just had to skip a little bit to make sure. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's it for this video, but you know, obviously this was just a rehearsal. And then in another clip, the next clip that was featured in the Google document, the execution actually happens, and it's the kind of footage that most people would say is impossible to describe because of how brutal it is, how bad it is. And later there are scenes of dismemberment in a kitchen. It looks like a big kitchen, which I unfortunately saw some screenshots, and the victim's body and limbs are arranged, organs are being photographed, and even images suggesting cannibalism, that the perpetrator is dismembering them and pulling out their organs in order to cook them. There's this one particular photo that shows the perpetrator holding the victim's head, and this time the killer isn't wearing a full-on mask. He is wearing just a surgical mask. And listen, these materials were so shocking that some platforms labeled them as possibly the first authentic snuff footage, a claim noted by international reporting. Yeah, you guys do not know how fast my heart dropped. Yeah, I mean, I obviously censored the photo, but I had the uncensored one. Like, I had to literally transfer it to an editing software and edit it out. Like, just put the mosaic filter on, because yeah, I unfortunately saw the original one, and it's bad. It's gonna stay with me. Well, I'm done eating. Not feeling good about it though. No, my hands are still shaking. Yeah, like I mean, same. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to like talk about this case, but honestly, yeah, my hands are shaking. Like, I'm shaking a little bit. Sorry you had to see that, Sona. Yeah. I mean, there was no uncensored version. Like, that's the fucked up part. Like, when I was looking, I was just like, okay, maybe I can find the censored version. That's fine. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I just got blasted with a lot of very bad images. Okay, so now the internet was wondering, like, what is going on? Who is this man? Why did this happen? And most importantly, who was responsible? Why is this case not being blasted on, like, in the Vietnamese media and the international media, right? Because by the time Bruce's team sat down to read the PDF, Vietnamese online sleuths had already spent weeks tracking identities, decoding social media handles, following digital breadcrumbs, and building a case that the authorities had ignored for months. 4 months, because the internet discovered it way earlier than the authorities did. Like they knew from January, or from, like January, February, they started seeing this content and alerting the police, alerting the authorities, but nothing was being done, right? Okay, Jesus. So the internet sleuths combed forums, dark web, Telegram channels, and encrypted image boards, piecing together the identity of the victim and the killer. Because you see, before these images and videos hit the true crime sleuthing forums, they were found in various Chinese Telegram channels and accounts where someone was trying to sell them. Yeah. So this is actually a screenshot. There's another screenshot that I have. Government's gonna government. Yeah, I mean, the curse of doing research. I feel for you, Sona. My cat Mochi says hi. Hi, Mochi. She just walked over my keyboard. Yeah, but this account was trying to sell these images and videos in this, I don't know, like this encrypted online community. So there's this screenshot of various messages from one suspicious account with an even more suspicious username. There was like another user. Okay, so this is the screenshot of someone trying to sell it. So it says like there are 11 videos and 98 photos in total by package. And they were trying, and the top says anyone who needs to buy can contact this and this account, right? But then internet sleuths kind of started investigating even more, and they found this strange account with an even stranger name that they later determined might have been the victim's account. So the username was Dad Behead, and in the bio it says Love Behead. So yeah, then people actually linked this account and also tracked various messages from alleged victim named Nguyen Xuan Dat, and he was saying, I'm bored. Want your heart to call the genre beheading here? Anyone? No? I'm sorry for the weird translation. I was trying to just translate it from Vietnamese, so it's kind of wonky, but that's one of the messages that was like posted by this account. And then there were more. That said, I volunteer beheading. What do you mean? I volunteered to be beheaded. By whom? A female executioner. Yeah. And so the internet sleuths actually did get to the bottom of this. Like they did get to an actual person. And yeah. So sorry, I have to like pause because Jesus. So let's unpack this case from the very beginning. Let's unpack who the victim was and who was the perpetrator. So this all traces back to January 25th, 2025, deep in a government office in the northern Vietnamese province of Lang Son. That day, a man named Nguyen Xuan Dat, a 36-year-old laborer, I think he was a fishmonger from Hung Yin province, he arrived at the headquarters of a local market management team number 4 in Lang Son, which is a government unit responsible for inspecting prices and goods. And there he met another person, actually a government official, Don Van Shang, and I apologize if I mispronounced it. He was a 57-year-old former deputy head of that same team. Yep, he was a government official. So there's that. And it isn't exactly clear how did the situation escalate from you know, the two of them meeting to the victim being decapitated by Van Chang. But from the victim's internet activity, I mean, you saw it. The victim was fantasizing about being beheaded, and this is what was written on. This is actually what was written on the Wikipedia page about the case. So Dat made a comment on a hentai site requesting a Vietnamese translation of the Eroguro manga Applicant for Death by Nguyen Goto that shared similarities with Dat's death, notably details related to guillotines, consensual homicide, and speaking decapitated heads. So there's that. So what happened next was recorded in a series of videos that would later circulate online, being sold online, shocking everyone who came across them. And the scene was not random nor chaotic. It was like very meticulously staged after the murder, or for the murder and after the murder. I go, what? Yeah. Unless I'm mistaken, the guy with the knife doesn't look female. No, the guy with the knife was not female. He was a 57-year-old government official. So there's also a conspiracy theory that because he was a government official, because I was like, one would wonder, why would government try to suppress this information? Why would government try to delete all the materials and all the information about the perpetrator? Well, he worked for the government, so you can finish that sentence yourself. Okay, so the scene was meticulously staged. There were multiple camera angles, tripods, and a clear sequence of footage suggested a premeditated act. And I'm broken. Bacon. And here I am thinking I was into heavy shit. Yeah, no, it's this one is it takes the cookie, takes the prize. Government covering for government. So yeah, in one clip, a man lying on his back is shown reaching the height of sexual climax before another man. So the victim is in that video. The other video is lying on his back doing stuff, and then the other man, the perpetrator, wearing a mask, swings a cleaver and severs his neck. And yes, this was an actual uncensored picture that I had to censor, and yeah, that's the murder weapon. So in the next footage, the body is being dismembered. In photographs that accompanied the videos, organs are arranged as though prepared for a dish, which later actually happens, and the perpetrator actually cooks some of it. And yeah, and then we go back to the image of the executioner holding the severed head in a selfie, and these visuals spread across encrypted messaging apps like wildfire. Swordsman says, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff before, but this is something I've never encountered before. I mean, just the term consensual homicide is enough to make me feel sick. I mean, I guess there's a question. Well, there is a discussion or question like, okay, well, since it was consensual, is it really murder? Because it was consensual. So is it really homicide? Is it really a murder, or is it just, I don't know, just an act? But to me, it's fucked up. It's still messed up. Brian, hello, hi. Same here, but I don't think I've heard a case as crazy as this one. It's, oh my god, it just goes beyond anything I've ever covered, I think. And Shadow J, hi, hello. Yeah, but Telegram mostly. So it was spreading on Telegram a lot. And yeah, someone was, allegedly the perpetrator was trying to salt the material, the clips, the videos and pictures in packs and on like some dark web forums and those encrypted Telegram chat rooms. Some commentators on snuff film history even described this as potentially the first commercially circulated real snuff movie, though that label remains debated. I mean, it was, commercially circulated, but it was just sold illegally on the dark web. So I guess yes, but it's just hard to think about that. Yeah. But the internet is a very strange place and people are relentless. Netizens who saw this began reverse engineering every single frame. They were just like, oh, hell no, we're gonna find this guy. We have to find this person. This is not right. This is not right. Like, why are the authorities not talking about it? Why is this not, we've been sending letters, we've been sending emails, we got no response. So we're gonna reverse engineer the material ourselves. And they started sleuthing hard. As in, they noted, the language spoken, the layout of the rooms, the labeling on bottles and packaging, the specific products like the bottle of water that is La Vie, which is a brand popular in Vietnam. They even got as far as like identifying the type of tiles and furniture visible in the background and identifying that, oh, this is in this province or this is in Vietnam, but this province or this area, like they were sleuthing hard. Swordsman says you could argue it's an assisted unaliving, but the fact that they were selling this as snuff is just so wrong. Snuff in general just shouldn't even be a thing. I get it's a form of artistry, I guess, but as long as it's not real, it's disturbing, but as long as it's not real, this was real. This was absolutely real. Okay, so every tiny detail became a clue in the screenshots in the videos. Hundreds of hours of collective sleuthing followed. Forums buzzed with speculation, maps were drawn, angles were compared, and digital footprints were chased across social media platforms. So the victim's identity, Nguyen Xuan Dat, didn't emerge immediately, but once netizens found inactive social media accounts tied to that name, a chilling pattern appeared. So yes, posts years old showed like repeated references to extreme or morbid interests, including beheading fantasies and fetishized death wishes. And then at one point, Dad actually commented, like there's one message that he commented saying, "I will no longer be active on this account." And you can guess why. It was actually posted close to January 2025. Because, well, he wasn't alive later. Some of the guys who reverse engineer photos are amazing. I've got a friend who does some of this for his local police department. It's amazing. I mean, I'm honestly, like, I'm always impressed. I was super impressed when I watched the Don't Fuck with Cats documentary on Netflix, and that was about the case of Luca Magnotta and June Lin, and that was the murder of June Lin that I said I also found a picture of his severed head, and I will never forget that. No. He died in 2025. He died in January 2025. I think, like, assuming, like, allegedly around January 25th, 2025. So there's that. Like, we don't know exactly when, but around that time. No longer active on the internet or no longer in the world. Yeah, like that was probably his last message. Like, I'm not gonna be active on this account any longer. Okay, so yes, he was posting a lot about, being beheaded and fantasizing about death, and he did have those online aliases. His main one was that beheading, where this was traced back to forums where users openly discussed these kinds of topics. And it suggested not just a victim, but someone who, at least according to their own posts, desired this kind of end. Like that was what he wanted, you know, that was what he strived for. And again, it just circles back to the discussion, like, okay, was this murder or was it just assisted homicide? I mean, to me, it is still murder, but oh God. But I can see why that can be disputed, like if the victim wants it. And this is very similar to that other case that I covered about the Cannibal Cafe, a website. It was like a dark web or just website, Cannibal Cafe. And there was a guy who also advertised himself as like, I'm gonna kill you, like murder you and eat you or something. And, you know, I'm looking for volunteers, and someone volunteered, and it actually happened. I work with my local police sometimes because I know how to search for IP addresses, so I can get someone's IP real quick, but I could never do the stuff for the people who do reverse engineer photos. Yeah, because some of those photos, again, you know, I don't even do reverse engineering. I just research cases and I see things that I don't want to see, that I hope are being censored online, but it's all too easy to find. Also, Joshua, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hi, sorry I'm late. No worries, no worries. Okay, so as for the man on the other side, the man wielding the cleaver, the breakthrough came when community investigators started linking physical markers. So, you know, his tattoos, birthmarks from that picture, from that selfie, body build, and even like hairstyle to public photos of Nguyen Xuan Dat. And as it turns out, he was a known local official, a deputy head of a regional market management team, and someone, this is actually where the murder happened. Like, you can't see it, but there are sealed, like the door is sealed. So the murder happened in there, like in one of the buildings, the kitchens of this market management team office. Yeah, he's a fucking deputy. Yes, he is. And he was definitely someone with, you know, access to the very office where the killing likely took place. So again, this is like picture of the place. And I think it's all the more shocking. I think it's like, this actually like made me open my mouth, just like drop, like my jaw dropped, because I was just like, wait, you mean to tell me he just went to his workplace to do this? Like, he didn't even bother like, finding a different place, like a remote place, I don't know, like his house, whatever. No, that's where he worked. That was the government office or government property. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Yeah, you can kind of see the stickers on the door. Yeah. So this was a place with, you know, kitchens, bathrooms, and spaces that lined up all too well with what happened in the leaked videos. It makes sense because there was literally an office room in the rehearsal video, right? Like, the rehearsal video is an office room. So it's not a set, it's an actual fucking office. Holy crap, I kind of see it too. Yeah, right? Like, there are stickers here because this is probably where it happened. Oh yeah, that's great. When did they even have the time to even do the deed? I don't know. I don't want to know. It happened for whatever reason. I mean, there were cases that I've covered that seemed to be like defying the laws of physics. Like, I don't know, like murder happened within 10 minutes or 5 minutes, or, you know, disappearance, like someone disappeared without a trace and they were never seen again within like 5 to 10 minutes. And it's just like, how, where, like, how is that possible? But yeah, you know, considering how the deputy didn't bother covering his identifiable markings, he probably wanted to get caught, or he knew that someone would cover up for him. Which is even worse, I think. I think it's even worse than just not caring and, you know, saying like, just taking those pictures saying like, you know what, fuck you all, I don't care if you catch me. No, I think he also thought, I don't care because I can get away with this, because this case is gonna be covered up. I will have some help. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Yeah, same here. What makes this all even stranger is the timeline. So after January 2025, when this meeting and the killing allegedly occurred, Shang continued going to work, living his life in the same place, by the way, but going to work, living his life, and posting on social media as if nothing unusual had happened. So yeah, meanwhile, the footage spread quietly, you know, the footage, the rehearsal, the killing, everything else. It was first shared in private fetish communities and those encrypted groups. People paid for snippets, people paid for images, which is crazy to me. It wasn't until July or August of that year, when clips began leaking publicly on shock sites, that the broader online world took notice. And, you know, like internet sleuths were already noticing, but like the broader internet actually saw it, and they were like, wait, why is this not investigated? Where is the police? Like, why is this not being taken down? For months, authorities seemed almost indifferent. Despite reports and frantic posts from Vietnamese citizens, there was no official acknowledgement of the case in the public eye. No press releases, no police briefings that, hey, we're looking into this. We are aware of the situation. We are looking into this. Like, there was nothing. I think that's the shocking part. Like, it shocks even more, because it's just like, what? There's not even an announcement that, hey, we're aware of this, we are looking into this, please be patient with us, like we're gonna solve this, you know, no, it was just silence, until the internet sleuths' detailed documents began circulating, that Google document, you know. And it was a massive file, at first 88 pages, and later expanded into a 106-page dossier, compiled every clue they had uncovered. So timelines, chat logs, names, digital footprint, facial comparisons, and suspected locations of the crime scene. And that document actually exploded in popularity and forced the issue into the public eye. So basically, had it not been for this Google document, the government would have continued to ignore this story. But now they couldn't, because the document went viral, the Google doc went viral. So they're like, oh shit, you know, we have to take it down. But now people know, we can't just stay quiet about it. Government corruption can happen in many different ways. Absolutely. This 100%. People are capable of covering for their friends. So yeah, it's possible. But it blows my mind that it's like, I mean, yeah, it does and it doesn't, right? Because we've heard cases about like police officers being, like murdering someone or doing something, and other police officers covering up for them, or like just whole police force just covering up. So there's that. And then finally, on December 3rd, 2025, so at the end of the year, pretty much, the police announced the arrest of Nguyen Xuan Dat, charging him with murder under Vietnam's penal code. So this is him. The Ministry of Public Security released photos of Shang in handcuffs, confirming the long-suspected identity. But honestly, some of those pictures, like the pictures, it just looks so staged. Like it looks... Because he's kind of just standing there, and there are like supposedly these two like officials reading him his rights or whatever his charges, and he's just standing there. It just looks so staged. It looks so like, oh man, we have to do this photo shoot because the public is anal about it. Like, oh, the cat's out of the bag. We have to arrest you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, sir, for this inconvenience. Like that's I don't know, that's the impression that I got from these pictures, you know, like when I saw the arrest, like, oh, the arrest photos, it just looked like a photo shoot. How do we know that paper even is official? I don't even know. I don't even know if these guys are officials. Like, yeah, they are in like uniforms or something, but who the fuck knows? Also, Alberto, hi. Either vanity or well protected, yeah. But Alberto, thank you so much for tuning in. So yeah, the authorities also urged the public, like, this is the fucked up part, because you would think, okay, well, the cat's out of the bag, you know, the authorities finally acknowledged, we're gonna talk about it now, right? Like, we're gonna finally, they will release some official stuff, some official images, some official evidence, whatever, announcements, right? Like, we're gonna be talking about it more now. No. So the authorities actually urged people, the public, not to share any of the images or videos from the case. So they were saying that this is harmful content. I mean, it is, but harmful content that could incite panic or violate information security laws. Which is like, okay, but you guys ignored it for many, many months. And then when you finally acknowledge, like, you're suppressing information, they were deleting like articles, they were deleting information. Not even like, it wasn't even that they were deleting the images and like Google documents, like, not even that. It was like, oh, they were also deleting information about this case. They were like, no, let's not talk about it. You guys calm down, everyone calm down. This is gonna incite panic. Yeah, because a government official just dismembered someone. I think it warrants, you know, like a right to panic a little bit, just a little bit. Horse shit. Yeah. What type of uniforms were the Vietnamese? Yeah, like, I think it's accurate, but I don't know. And even with an arrest made, you know, even with the perpetrator actually arrested, the shadow of this case looms large. I mean, there are lingering questions about consent, you know, fetish culture colliding with lethal reality, and where one draws the line between, you know, shocking online content and criminal evidence. There are questions about why authorities didn't act sooner, and yes, like, I mean, to me, it's a cover-up. It's a cover-up to me. Like, that's very clear. Basically, don't make look like we're incompetent, for that would hurt the party's image. Probably. I mean, yeah, like, it's just, to me, it was just like cover up. Just cover up. They were trying to cover their asses now. Okay. So yeah. Then there are, you know, broader conversations about how online communities armed with just screenshots and pretty much relentless curiosity, like, forced a story into daylight that might otherwise have stayed buried. Because think about it, if it weren't for those internet sleuths, we wouldn't have known. No one would have known about this. I wonder how many cases we don't know about. How many cases are being covered up? How many similar or worse cases are being covered up right now? And we don't know about it, because this one was luckily, you know, ended up in the hands of some very skilled internet detectives. But I can bet that there are many, many cases that did not and are still buried. So when the arrest was finally announced, you would think the story would end there. You know, killer caught, closed, case closed, justice served, roll the credits. But instead, things got stranger. So yet, when Vietnamese police finally announced the perpetrator was in custody, and mind you, this is another picture from the supposed, like, arrest. And, well, you can judge for yourself. Like, does this look staged? Does this look legitimate? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like, I don't know, there's something weird about it. There's something strange about it. It's just very strange. It's just a very bizarre series of photos from the the supposed arrest that just, I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe I'm seeing too much. Maybe I'm like looking into it too much. Uniforms look quite young. Yeah, like they, I mean, maybe like they are just, oh, you know, they're just younger officers or something, but it looks very strange. Looks like a group of buddies hanging out and not an arrest. Yeah, like it just looks like, oh, it's just, you know, stand next to each other. You guys just hold him. Let's just take a couple of pics and, you know, just look serious. And then like, I wouldn't, you know what, like if someone told me right after this photo was taken, they were just like laughing and just got some coffee, I would not be surprised. I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, it just looks like they're about to like, oh, they're just keeping those like serious faces. But then the moment the camera is shut off, they're like, ha ha ha, okay, thank you. Okay, let's just get some lunch. So yeah, things got stranger. You would think that when Vietnamese police finally announced like the perpetrator is in custody and he was being investigated for murder, you would think they would admit to their negligent conduct up until this point, because it was going on for months. They didn't. They actually didn't. Bacon says, does Vietnam normally photograph arrests? Because if they don't, yeah, this is staged or some shit. I'm not sure. I don't honestly, truth, God, I can't speak. Yes, truthfully, I don't know. I would say that they do, like high profile cases, like I think anyone does. But it's just something about those photos. It was just something about these photos that just doesn't look good. And the guy's hair tells me all I need to know what kind of official status he has. I mean, yeah. So, no, the Vietnamese authorities did not acknowledge their negligent conduct. Almost immediately, the government's messaging took a sharp turn. Instead of addressing how such a crime went unnoticed for nearly a year, they did not acknowledge any of that. They didn't acknowledge that, hey, we are so sorry for this case being so delayed and the arrest coming so late. Like, we acknowledge our failure to catch him early. Instead of explaining why citizen reports had been ignored because they received multiple of them, authorities focused on something else. As I said before, they warned the public not to share the investigation document, not to repost the videos, not to circulate screenshots, not to store the file, not to distribute what the online sleuths had built from scratch. They stated that sharing these materials violated some cybersecurity and information laws. They described the document as harmful, destabilizing, and even dangerous. The moment someone uses the word destabilizing what? Destabilizing what exactly? Your lies? Like the abhorrent, just abysmal situation in the government? Like, what? Destabilizing the government? Yeah, because it's just horrible. Yeah. And this is interesting because the warnings weren't primarily about protecting viewers from violence. They weren't really saying that, oh, this is all because we want to protect the viewers, the online viewers, from violent content. No, they were about controlling the spread of the investigation itself, of the story itself. And that's when people started whispering about this word, the taboo word that always makes governments very, very uncomfortable. Cover up. That's what came up. Cover up. This is strange. Who do they have to lie? Yeah, why do they have to lie? Well, I mean, yeah, destabilize their status, their pride. Well, right, the government, the peace, but that means control. Destabilize the control. By the way, I don't know if this video is gonna stay up. It might be my last stream. Who knows? Maybe YouTube is gonna be instructed by the Vietnamese government, oh, look here, look at this one. She's talking about it. She's destabilizing YouTube. The video might be demonetized, which is fine. I don't care. Like, I just wanted to talk about this story, but who knows? Maybe this is my last stream in 2026 and at all. So yeah, it's been good, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being here with me. So Vietnamese social media lit up with questions like, why were the citizen investigators being threatened with fines? Because that's what happened. Actually, citizen investigators were being threatened with fines by the government. Well, the suspect lived freely for months after the crime. Why did the arrest only happen after international attention began brewing? Because it didn't happen before. It happened only when the Google document kind of spread, all the way to YouTube, all the way to Brew, all the way to other international communities. Why was the public being told to forget the very evidence that pushed the case forward? You can also kind of see it in how the reporting was in news outlets inside Vietnam and in international media outlets. So Vietnamese outlets kind of reported cautiously, and international outlets reported more bluntly about the murder. Analysts pointed out that online sleuthing had majorly outpaced official law enforcement, and well, they embarrassed the government. And I think that's why the government was not happy about it. Vietnam has other pressing problems than to report this video, right? Well, I think it's pretty important. I think it is pretty... Well, no. Wait, reporting my video is not important. That's true. Never mind. You're right. Yes, listen to this guy. Vietnamese government, if you're listening, listen to this person. I'm not important. Get fucked. Also, Josh, thank you so much. Just wear a fake mustache and you would disappear. It's just like, whoa. I'm a different person now. Okay, so by the time Brew uploaded their video, because it came out several days ago, the narrative had shifted. This wasn't just about a horrific crime. It was about who controls the information, who gets to decide which stories live, which stories are hidden. Which victims are acknowledged, which investigations are allowed to exist. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. If no one had saved that document, if no one had mirrored those screenshots, if no one had pushed past fear of censorship, there's a very real chance that this case would have just dissolved into a rumor. And the guy behind it, the murderer, would have just continued working as a government official, but instead it became something else. This case, I think this story reminds us that the internet absolutely can be grotesque, it can be dangerous, it can be cruel, but sometimes, just sometimes, it becomes a jury that refuses to look away. And that's where this story leaves us, not with closure, but with a question. If this case could almost be erased, how many others already have been? That is the end of the story, you guys. Oh my god. Holy shit. This is the end of the case, you guys. Thank you so much for sitting through this case with me, because my goodness. But good thing people can use the internet for the justice. Absolutely. Good thing that the internet does serve this purpose sometimes. And I'm glad to see that there are people who are relentless and determined and curious, so curious that they will go the extra mile to uncover the truth. I don't know if I would have this much determination to keep going for months, but hey, if there's a mystery, I might. One day, I might. If one day, I think this is one of my goals. If one day I can be a part of something like this and help solve a case that's been being ignored by the authorities and being ignored by the public, then yeah, I would absolutely want to help. Good old case of government corruption. I would say so, yeah. Thank you for the stream, Sana. You're welcome, you guys. This is a lot. This was a lot. This was a heavy case, and I hope that I didn't traumatize you for life, even though I think I'm traumatized for life pretty much because the images were, yeah, that would be so cool. That would be pretty cool. Not gonna lie, but like the first and foremost, it would be cool to help, you know, solve something, to help solve a case that maybe has been cold for decades. And speaking of cold cases that have been sitting there for decades and were finally solved, I did talk about another big case on my Patreon. So if you're interested, I do have bonus cases and bonus stream on my Patreon and other benefits. And just yesterday, we were talking about the huge case from Texas from 1991, the yogurt shop murder case. Of four teenage girls that were brutally murdered and set on fire pretty much in the yogurt shop. And this case was unsolved, like was just sitting there cold and unsolved for 34 years until 2025, until September of 2025, when authorities finally found the suspect. And there was a huge plot twist, you know, like it's not what you think, but it is. Like it is and it isn't, like it does and it doesn't have closure. So there's that. Also, Danny, thank you so much. Thanks for the trauma again, Sona. I really appreciate you doing this for us. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I saw things I can't unsee. I will have to just live with that. It's okay. I'll just have to live with this information, this knowledge. Okay, so yeah, you guys, if you're interested and if you would like to support my channel, obviously you don't have to. This is not mandatory. These are bonus stuff, but you can check out my Patreon. It's patreon.com/FEARSONA, and you can check out all the goodies, all the benefits, wallpapers, and bonus streams and bonus cases as well. In the meantime, I will be releasing my next this upcoming week's schedule sometime like today or tomorrow. I mean, I'm gonna try to release it today just ahead of time, but you can expect like a couple of streams. I would say 3-4 streams this week, and some shorts and some bonus stuff. So yes, you can keep an eye out for my in my community tab and the post tab on my channel, or on Twitter. Like I usually post a lot on Twitter, so if you're not following me there yet, you can check it out as well. But we're back. We're fully back. I hope I can stream some more. I hope I can do some more stuff, some spooky stuff, give you guys full body chills as always. And yeah, you know, just keep improving this year. That's my goal. I think that is my biggest goal, to improve and to enjoy the process. That's it. That's my goal. That's my resolution for 2025. Resolutions, I guess. Improve the content and enjoy the process while doing so. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome. And maybe like I can improve my tracking as well. Like I think I'm gonna try to get some better trackers this year for sure. Because I have like a couple of things coming up, including like new model, including like new outfit and whatnot. So I would like the tracking to be much better. So we shall see. Okay, that's it for today. You guys, thank you so much again. Stay safe out there. Always lock your doors and windows. Bury your hexes. Until the next time. Bye. Did I not turn off my microphone? Oh, hello. Anyway, hi again. Sorry for not adding mini Mothman to the spread, the Mothman spread. I will add it next stream. So worry not. Joshua, thank you so much. Worry not, I will be adding mini Mothman to the Mothman collection that we're collecting this month, because we're collecting mini Mothman. But I completely forgot because this case just took all the space in my head and just it took over my mind, and yeah, like just brain fart. Fun fact, I had a brain fart today and I forgot to add the plushies, but I will be adding them, don't worry. I'll be adding 5 of them, you guys. Thank you so much for all the super chats and memberships and all the support. So yeah, stay safe out there, always lock your doors and windows, bury your hexes. Until the next time, bye bye.